What's going on, wonderful people out there? It is the bad man, Mama Jamma from Atlanta. No, well, Arkansas. But anyway, well, technically, no, not even that. All right, anyway, just the madman in the box. You guys know who I am by now. Once again, as always, guys, check out my information on blackside32.com. Make sure you guys are not getting scammed by people pretending to be me. And let's get going. Just to jump into it. So this particular video is going to be about the Texas non-resident registration or right to travel in Texas. Now, if this is your first time watching this video, you definitely have a lot of videos. I like it a lot of videos to watch. All right. But remember, guys, I always keep my lives up. Okay. And I put them in the live playlist on my main YouTube channel. So go there, drop down, look at the playlist, look for the one that says live. You can see all of my lives in there where I talk about right to travel in there. There's lots of goodies in that box. Okay. Lots of questions are answered in there. For the people who like the longer videos, that's definitely a good place to go. You guys know me, I like to keep it short and sweet. Well, my girlfriend doesn't, but yeah. Just kidding, just kidding. All right. So, with that being said, it was rather difficult to find the Texas, they're non-resident, but we found it. They all have to have it. Now, remember, guys, if they don't have any information on dealing with a non-resident or a foreign national or a private vehicle registration or foreign vehicle registration, then you can use that against them in court. What it is. Okay. So without further ado, let's share the screen, if you know what I mean. Some people recently also mentioned to me that they wanted to thank me for, putting this information out there. Well, of course, other people wanted to thank me for sending out positive messages. So here's another positive message. I believe in all of you guys. If you're watching my channel, you're not a troll, to the trolls, well, it is what it is. Thanks for supporting. Which is also funny because, like I said, you guys trying to either make your name off of my name and channel or trying to, dog poo on me, which then only makes a lot more people on your channel follow me and my information because, well, let's just be a little cocky. I'm better than a lot of these people out there. And especially if you're a troll because I'm backing it up with where you can find this information and how to deal with it. Now, that's not saying I'm a better person than you because I don't know you personally. But if you think that you're better than me, then hey, good for you. You want a cookie, but that's fine. I'm not here to be better than you. I'm here to bring the truth out, and this is the truth from my perspective. So it's just sad if you have to be against somebody, but hey, do what you do. Rock on. Keep making me famous because that's what it is. Though that's not really what I want to be as famous. I just want the truth out there and make a little living on the way. And here's the difference is that I'm not here trying to scam people and whatever else. But the positive message to other people is that keep going, keep doing what you're doing, but try to be a little bit better every day. Take time for yourself. All right. And let all that negativity and hate and stuff go. Eat a little bit better, get a little bit more sleep, take care of yourselves, invest in yourselves, save for yourself, and try to work with small victories every day. Write down like three things you absolutely know you can get accomplished today if you just do it. Not I'll do it next week or whatever else. Set up obtainable goals, okay, or attainable. Is probably the better word. Here we go. All right, well, let's go. All right. So here's my methodology on this. Okay. So here you can see that on find law, U.S. federal state cases, codes, and articles. All right. So this is good. I did first I went to the Texas state of Texas website and try to look up things, and it was like pulling needles, finding a needle in a haystack. So I usually just then do a normal Google search and then switch over to one of the other search engines. And what I put in there is vehicle non-resident. And then I went through a number of different articles until I could finally find this section. I actually had to read through the code. All right. So, but luckily enough, one of the well, okay, let me say this correctly. So after doing my Google search with the word vehicle, Texas, code, non-resident, this popped up. Okay. Because normally I would put in non-resident vehicle registration or foreign vehicle registration, but it wasn't finding it in there. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, when I did the Google search, it pulled this. I then took the code right here and went to where is it? Oh, here, and found the code. This is what it was like on this is their site. This is really long, hard reading, and I had to go through each one of these until I finally found the 502.145 vehicles operated by certain non-residents. Okay, so we'll get into that in just a moment. Okay, let's minimize. Get back over here. So, all right. So Texas Transportation Code. So if you're going to be doing right to travel, understand they only understand two basic jurisdictions. Either you're a U.S. citizen or you are a non-resident. We know police officers refer to us as foreign nationals when doing this properly. Not all of them understand the information, so do not be a belligerent or combatant on the side of the road. You are not there to argue with them. That's for the judge or the prosecutor, which if you follow my way, won't be a whole lot of arguing from either side. There'll be acceptance. But here it is. So if you do everything right, you watch other videos and you pulled your vehicle out of their jurisdiction, it's in a private trust, all that stuff. And okay. And one of the people I was doing this for, they said, well, Texas told me they don't acknowledge trusts. I said, well, that's a lie. They do. Remember, these people can lie to you, okay? There's no law that says that they can't lie. So if a lie is all it takes for you to go away, well, then yeah, they're gonna do it. Okay. Plus, they are not legal officials. They are not judges. They're not attorneys. They don't know the law. They know bits and pieces. They can't possibly say they don't recognize it because the United States of America is held in trust. They are public trustees. You're going to tell somebody you don't recognize trust and you're a damn public trustee. Come on, man. So anyway, okay, it's understanding then that if you've done everything right and you're not in their jurisdiction, that only means that only can then mean that you are out of their jurisdiction. And they call somebody out of their jurisdiction non-residents. So when speaking to a police officer, if you've done everything correct, you're doing private travel, which is protected by the Constitution and the federal court. It's already been ruled on by the Supreme Court, highest law in the land. Supreme Court, federal court trumps state and local unless you agree to the private contract that you're in as a U.S. citizen. So you are to refer to yourself as a non-resident, and you should have an affidavit of being a non-resident under jure notarized in your travel binder and in your car. A non-resident is equivalent to the words foreign national, which are what the police have in their book. So the police are going to understand either a non-resident or a foreign national. When you're operating privately, your vehicle is operated by a non-resident. And unless you have an affidavit of being a non-resident or a foreign national, they can only go by what they see and read in their computer. So have it on the side of the road. This is also why you can take that same information and have it filed at your county recorder. So it's on file with the courts. Okay. So now that you know what that is, let's go on to see what it says. It says a non-resident. Wait, what? You know what? Let's just yes, I'm gonna be lazy. Eh. All right, hold on. Okay, so now we should be ready.
Operated for compensation may operate the A non-resident owner of a privately owned passenger.
So as I showed you guys the federal code for a privately owned passenger car. So do you understand what they're saying here? If your car is registered to them under your legal name, it is public. When you remove it from the private or from the public, it then becomes a privately owned passenger car. We know what a non-resident is. We know the word resident means to reside and enter. You can literally see it in the word. Resident. You resided and entered into the state's corporate jurisdiction. You became a member of the public. So making an affidavit and pulling your stuff out of it makes you then go back to where you were when you first got started as a non-resident. How do we know this, Badwolf? Well, I'm glad you asked. Do you remember at the time when you were younger and they told you that you need to prove residency? Go home and get that envelope with your name in all capitalized letters. Not one from Nana, all capitalized letters, like a bill. Then it had the zip code on there. That's a benefit. It had the 2-digit abbreviation. Now, we as foreign nationals, non-residents, state citizens, nationals of the United States of America, we know and use the 3-digit, or you spell out the name of the whole state. Florida, California. Okay, that's the republic. We're becoming private again. That doesn't mean that you're changing you're renouncing. You're just saying in the moment thereof, you're in private capacity. So a non-resident, somebody private who then owns a vehicle that's private, a passenger car. Okay, now let's keep going.
Passenger car that is registered in the state or country in which the person resides and
So when they say this, this is why you need to have your trust based in the United States of America, not the United States corporation, or in a country, or you create your own micronation. Anything that's not theirs that claims ownership that they can't find in their computer is then private. It's another state. State and country are synonymous. It means wherever people are gathered under the same thing. And yes, you can be an individual person in your own private state. Okay?
that is not operated for compensation.
Because if you're operating your vehicle for compensation, even like police officers, so to the police officers who have already contacted me about this information, not do this in your police cruiser because you are being paid, you are generating income, not necessarily directly for you, but indirectly and directly for the municipality. Anybody who uses the streets for public has to pay taxes for our American streets. It's our land. We own the land. And when you're operating for compensation, you are a driver. That's why they give you a driver's license. A driver means somebody who's operating for compensation, profit, or income in the public and with their vehicle, and you are to be governed. Okay, let's go.
Compensation may operate the car in this state for the period in which the car's license plates are valid.
Okay.
Valid. In this subsection, non-resident means a resident of a state or country other than this state whose presence in this state is as a visitor and who does not engage in gainful employment.
So now what they're saying here is that your private trust is a non you living person, you have signed off on your documents through a jurat and a notary that you're operating while in that capacity as a non-resident. You are then looked at legally as a visitor in Texas. You do not have any gainful employment. Employment is a military term. I'm not employed. Or enter. Okay, let's read. Okay.
Employment or enter into business or an occupation, except as may otherwise be provided by any reciprocal agreement with another state or country. B. This section does not prevent 1. A non-resident owner of a motor vehicle from operating the vehicle in this state for the sole purpose of marketing farm products raised exclusively by the person, or 2. A resident of an adjoining state or country from operating in this state a privately owned and registered vehicle to go to and from the person's place of regular employment and to make trips to purchase merchandise, if the vehicle is not operated for compensation. C. The privileges provided by this section may be allowed only if, under the laws of the appropriate state or country, similar privileges are granted to vehicles registered under the laws of this state and owned by residents of this state. D. This section does not affect the right or status of a vehicle owner under any reciprocal agreement between this state and another state or country.
All right. So, there you have it. If you're doing everything correct, you're operating as a non-resident. Your vehicle is a non-resident. It owns the vehicle, you are controlling it. Now, if the state of Texas is watching this, and I know many states do watch my channels, including departments and whatever else, I personally would have a couple of more clauses in there. Okay. Like California, I believe, and Wisconsin, no, California states that you have to have a expiration date on your license. Wisconsin states that you have to have the name of where the vehicle is registered on top of the plate. So everybody's like, well, Wolf, what? Whoa, whoa, Wolf, why are you helping them? I'm not helping them. I'm just stating facts. I'm not helping anybody except for myself, in all honesty. But if you guys want to use it and it does provide some kind of assistance to you, because this is education anyway from your favorite non-belligerent non-combatants, treat the United States, neutral party, then so be it. I'm just saying, if they were to contact me, any of the states, and they were to say, hey, how can we fatten this up? I would put in there what they should have in there. Now, but see, here's the thing. Can they really tell you as a foreign person what your vehicle has to have? Because they don't own anything that's not theirs. Now, in another state, they talk about if you're going to fatten up that section for Texas. Another state I did, I forget which one it was. Theirs said if a resident of this state owns or continually uses this vehicle for any extended period of time, especially in commercial use, driver, or other activities of business within, keyword there, this state, then the vehicle must be registered. Now, of course, the keywords here are in because it's a conjunction to mean that you are inside of their paperwork. Basically, the streets are open to all people of the public. Now, they can request and require and prohibit certain things. If your vehicle is a damn tank, or you've got some kind of Mad Max 18-wheeler and, armaments on it and whatever else, that's a no-go. Okay. So now let's take a look and see if there's anything additional in the expanded section. One moment, please. All right, this should do it. All right, so this once again is their code, copy pasted, put it in the notepad, and I searched non-resident to be able to find this section. So here, look how they have it broken down in their code. Section 502.145, vehicles operated by certain non-residents. So that means that some non-residents have to register their vehicles depending on their scenarios with the government and whatever else. All right. So a non-resident owner is what you are. It's what they look for in Texas. That's all right. And this was updated in 2012, amended, redesignated, and amended. Okay. Otherwise, other than the word here, certain, everything else I believe is the same. In other words, they're saying, hey, look, if you want to come down here and you're private and you're going to operate as not one of us, that's fine. Now, if they ask, well, aren't you a resident of this state? Well, in this particular moment, you are not. If I have a identification piece and it says that I'm the president of Kazakhstan and I don't show them that, what are they going to tell me? Sir, you are not the president of Kazakhstan because I'm not showing them my ID. Now, if I tell them this is my name, they check the computer, they find somebody, what they're trying to do is force joinder. They want to be able to say, oh, we found a James C. Lovett in our computer system. Is this your address here? Are you this resident? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most police officers don't know this, but when they read off that name and address, they're talking about the registered person. That's a legal person because in their computer, it's all capitalized name. Because, see, if you look up the American jurisprudence, okay, on corporations, and by law, federal court, Supreme Court rulings, their opinions, which are just another name for court cases on that level. Corporations deal with corporations. You operate a corporation to then deal with another corporation. Your name in all capitalized letters is a corporation or a business entity, a legal person. So when they read off that name in there, they're saying, hey, see that name in there represents you. Well, but see, there you go, Wolf. Ah, caught him. Still, yet you don't understand legal style. Okay. Legal style. See, this is stuff they don't teach you guys. The word represent, when broken down, means to represent. As living people live in the present, to represent something is to wrap it up and to then present it. Well, if you're wrapping, you can't wrap me up and present me. So if you have something that represents me, it's not me, not by law. That is not me. I am not this ID. This only presents a facsimile of me. I am me. This is a representation of me. So that particular representation with the all capitalized names represents the legal state created entity or legal person. I have the right to say that is not me because I am me. Now, of course, you're not going to be on the side of the road arguing all this. This is why you want to either buy my paperwork or put it all on your own and build your case and to be able to submit it if in case they want to overstep your constitutional rights. So that is only me if I agree to it being me. I have the choice, the freedom, because we're not in slavery here. Slavery's been outlawed. So you cannot force me to be that. If I say I am not that, even a cop, even a police officer, if a police officer is walking down the road and if he's got civilian clothes on, okay, and he's off work, or even if he has his uniform on, right, his licensed uniform, Somebody runs up to him, hey, officer, I need you to do this. He can say, I'm not in active duty right now. That's none of my concern. I don't have to help you. I'm off duty. But you're wearing a police officer uniform. Yes, I do presently look like that, but I am in private capacity. Is the right. But then some people say, well, but all people have a civil right to do the right thing. That's true. There's such things as even citizen's arrest. Have you even some of you guys even heard of that? Okay. So there's lots of things a lot of people haven't even heard about. He has the right to not be that legal person if he doesn't want to be. Now, if he's in the active duty and receiving compensation, he has to do his job. But did you also know that an officer does not have to jeopardize himself? If he doesn't want to walk into the middle of a gunfight, he doesn't have to. Sure, they write up codes that say an officer will charge in there and do those things, or they'll say the citizen has an obligation. Well, you're talking about if I agree that I am a citizen and I want to do that. I can walk down the street and be a national or a state citizen or foreign national or a non-resident or operating in my private capacity. I don't have to adhere to those things. You can't force the agreement or contract of being a U.S. citizen or a resident that I always have to be it. You can't do that. If you force somebody to do something, you're not compensating. Last I found, they've never compensated me for being a U.S. citizen. So then that's what's known as peonage, and that's a federal offense. They cannot force you. You cannot go down the street and say, hey, doctor, I need you to do this. You can't force him to do anything. Well, you have an obligation. Didn't you take an oath as a doctor to do this? Yeah, when I'm in capacity to do that. I'm in private capacity right now. I'm not at work. Or some of them might even say, I don't have a license to practice outside of my building or in another state, because they've agreed to be that U.S. person who's then held underneath those things. And they have to do those things when they're in that capacity, being compensated. When not being compensated, you ain't got to do nothing. All right. So that is it, my good people. If you are in Texas, that is how you find the code. That is the code that you should have in your paperwork and your binder and all that other good jazz. If you don't, well, then you guys wonder why you're not successful. You haven't pulled your vehicle out. You haven't updated. You haven't created your own private IDs or whatever else you need to do, like we talk about in the videos. If you're going to be a private person, and my just educational information, entertainment purposes only. If you're going to be a private person in your private car, you're going to say you're a non-resident, then you should really have a homemade ID, because there's no law that says you can't have a homemade ID. Now, understand all that gets basically put to the side if you do damage. And I've been hearing about some dumbass people out there speeding, which is one of the first things I've always said. If you're going to learn this, don't go out there trying to test it. But I had to know, Wolf. I had to know. The proof is in the pudding. You've done the things. You know how difficult it was to get some of these things done. Why do they make it difficult? Because they don't want dumbasses like those people who are out there speeding. So for the person that was speeding, no offense, you know who you are, or who you are's, multiple of you. I am not going to sit here and help you get out of your scenarios if you're going to be caught speeding. Here's why. If you think it's okay to go down the street and speed to try to test any of this stuff out, you're the problem. You're the reason why they don't want us to know any of this information. You're the reason why they hid it in the first place. You're the reason why they code the words and make it all difficult to translate. Next, if you're out there and you do damage to anybody, like one of my loved ones, we're going to have a problem. That's number one. Two, what if you go out there, or how about not even you? How about one of your fellow other people doing it out there who like to speed, and they crash into you, or your child, or your loved one, or your future wife, or your future husband? Then it's not so funny anymore, is it? Okay. So this is what I like to call the dragon scenario. Okay, or the dangerous beast in the woods. What are you going to call it? In the ancient days, if there was like even right now, take Arkansas, they have a huge problem with wild boars, okay? Pigs that have become feral, okay? Which I really hate when women are like, oh, I seen a guy at the gym and he was so feral, he glanced at me. What that stupid, do anything for a click or a like. Jeez, people have more, and there's a lot of mental health issues out there. Anyway, so in those days, people would rally together for the public safety of the village and go after the dragon or the lion, the tiger, the bear, the razorback boar, whatever, because that is in all of our best interest to be able to live our lives and to do business or live in the public or operate privately. It's always been a thing. Why do you think they always talk about these gallant stories of them going out there and taking care of dragons? Oh, and by the way, dragons are real. But in the old days, they were called dinosaurs. Or in this modern day, they're called dinosaurs, but in the old days, they were called dragons. Okay, so we know they're real. We've seen the bones in the museums. Anyway, so if you're out there being a beast of burden or a beast in the wild and you're endangering public safety, all this stuff that I teach does not make you above the law. Doesn't mean you get to be above public law and public safety, and you're endangering it. And you might be out there endangering me. And I don't care for that. Sure, you've got the right, but that doesn't make it right. That's why no matter what you do, they have the right to stop you if you're endangering public safety. And how do they get that jurisdiction from you, even if you're operating privately? By endangering public safety, which is speeding. If you want to speed, go to the track. Almost every state has a track. You can pay like 20 bucks and burn your little car out on the track. Oh, but you don't want to pay 20 bucks and well, then it's no fun, Wolf. I want to do it where everybody, it would be the equivalent of you on the playground with your kids and somebody has their wild dog running and ripping around through there. Would you be okay with that? Ah, now it makes more sense. Seen a couple of light bulbs go on. To other people who get it, love you guys. And to all the people who do operate as a non-belligerent, non-combatant, all right, and non-danger to public safety, thank you. Appreciate you guys. And to the police officers out there who know what this is and have learned and reached out to me to not only ask if they can do it in their police cruisers. No, obviously not. Corporate, commercial. But with your vehicles at home, your private vehicles, yeah, you can. There's nothing in your municipal paperwork that you sign that says you don't have a right to your private capacity or to operate your vehicle privately. This is not just for sovereign citizens. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. They can't even prosecute you underneath that. They get you for code violations as a U.S. citizen. They teach you guys that dumbass word so that you can label somebody incorrectly but correctly for not operating completely private. That's it. All right, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. As always, this is never any disrespect to anybody. This is all satire and whatever else. But if you are, I really don't care. Not at all. Constitution doesn't protect your feelings. So, but operate safely and privately. And this is, once again, guys, at the end of the day, this is all business. And it's not even Americans truly doing this to Americans. It's the people in the men behind the curtain that operate and control certain factions in this country. They're the ones who are pitting us against each other, and we don't even know what's going on. And here's one thing about all of us is that we're all Americans at the end of the day, except for you foreign people or whatever. And by that, hold on, let me say this correctly. The foreign evil people that are here, not just because you're foreign, who are here for nefarious purposes to operate against the American people. If we find out who you are, our good police officers, our good sheriffs, our good government officials, and various departments will deal with you guys. Because we know that there's a silent war going on between these certain groups and the freedoms and rights of we, the American people. And if I'm quoting correctly, I do believe it was George Bush Sr. that said, when the American people find out what we've done to them, they're going to tar and feather us. Huh. I wonder what he was talking about. I believe I'm quoting the right person. Could be wrong. Just education, entertainment. So what have they done to us? What are the things that we don't know that they've done to us? And all they know is the American is a werewolf. And that's a creature you don't want to come up against. Because when all of us Americans come together and we find out there's been some corruption or something's been done to defraud us, there will be hell to pay for all those involved. So make sure you guys know which side you guys are on should the time come. Or is it more so better said, when? Remember, guys, we are not against the government. We are against anything that is against the people, and we are against anything of anybody's right to have commerce, whether private or public. We're not against you. We're just trying to find out who's against us and our rights and freedoms. That's it, guys. Take care of yourselves. Stay wise, woke, and aware out there, and I will talk to you guys later. Badwolf's out. As always, you can check me out on blacksite32.com or on my ever popular growing TikTok channel, The Badwolf, or my backup YouTube channel, which is the Badwolf Media Channel. Talk to you guys later.